Molson Canadian Sunday Night Classics on Leafs TV. Brought to you by Molson Canadian.
It's October 15th, 1983, and the Chicago Blackhawks and the Leafs are set for their first Norris Division clash of the season at the Gardens. This is Molson Canadian Sunday Night Classics on Leafs TV. Orville Tessier's Hawks are on the rise with stars like Denny Savard, Steve Larmer, Al Secord, and Tom Lysiak. The Leafs have all kinds of firepower, but keeping the puck out of their net is left to young defensemen like Gary Nyland, Jim Benning, and Bob McGill. Hello once again, everyone. I'm and welcome to another edition of Molson Canadian Sunday Night Classics on Leafs TV. The Maple Leafs opened the season out west, losing first in Edmonton, winning in Los Angeles against the Kings, and then falling in Vancouver before returning home for their home opener against the Buffalo Sabres and playing them to a 4-4 tie. Under Mike Nikolic, the Leafs just did make the playoffs the previous season, but were eliminated by the Minnesota North Stars. The Blackhawks have started strong, winning 3 of their first 4 games for second spot in the Norris Division behind the first-place St. Louis Blues as the two teams collide at Maple Leaf Gardens. The Guardians of the Gilded Cages tonight. For the Chicago Blackhawks, it's veteran Tony Esposito. And for the Maple Leafs, it's the reacquired Mike Palmateer. Because we're going back to October 15th, 1983, the Leafs and the Blackhawks. You're watching Molson Canadian Sunday Night Classics on Leafs TV.
This portion of Leafs TV is brought to you by Esquire.
You see this leak? You got to change your oil every 3,000 clicks, not 5. And use 10W40 motor oil, not 10W30. Stay away from 10W30. You got that? You got that?
What kind of oil does it take?
The best feeling I've ever had in my entire life was that first goal with the Leafs. It was my goal since I was 3 years old, you know, just to play in the NHL, and I was so happy I couldn't even explain it. Especially it was right after my grandfather died. That was probably the best feeling I've ever came across.
There's one for you, Grandpa.
The Hawks are led by sniper Denny Savard, who will have 37 goals and 94 points, while Steve Larmer will chip in with 35. The Leafs get another 50-goal season from Rick Vaive, who will finish with 52. John Anderson will have 37, and Bill Derlago will have 40. Harry Neale had a marvelous junior career with the Toronto Marlboros, winning the Memorial Cup in 1956. He would then turn his attention towards coaching, first at Ohio State University with the Buckeyes, and the WHA with stops in Minnesota and Hartford, before becoming coach and then general manager in Vancouver with the Canucks. Better known to Leaf fans as the outstanding color analyst on Maple Leaf broadcasts. I had trouble getting that out. We welcome Harry Neale. How are you, buddy? Good to see you.
Yeah, well, it's nice to hear that you know my background, and fortunate for all our fans that I don't give yours.
Exactly. I don't have any. I just happen to sit here and pontificate with you. This is an interesting time for the National Hockey League. 1983, the early 80s. Wayne Gretzky is revolutionizing the sport, and his Edmonton Oilers are doing it with fire wagon hockey. And so subsequently, a lot of other teams are following along.
Well, they set the stage, and if you were going to beat Edmonton, you had to have some offense, and you couldn't perceive going into a game and winning it 2-1. Didn't do that very often. And I always think that I had a hand in getting Gretzky started, because when I was coaching Vancouver, he scored his first NHL goal against us.
And then went on to score, what, about 500 more against your teams, too? I know he certainly scored an awful lot against Toronto. So, but as we look now, Orville Tessier is coaching the Chicago Blackhawks, and the Hawks are a team that are patterning themselves a little bit around what's going on in Edmonton as well. Denny Savard has become the biggest mistake Montreal has ever made in the draft, because Doug Wickenheiser was chosen ahead of Denny, who played right in their backyard as part of the Trois Denis. Steve Larmer has developed into a strong presence on the wing, and the addition of Al Secord, late of the Boston Bruins, they put this line together, and it has been magic.
Well, it certainly is a group that you had to worry about. Secord was as tough as any player in the league, so if you fooled around with Larmer or Savard, you had to put up a seat. Savard had the puck most of the night, and Larmer had the great intuition in the offensive zone of where to go, and if you got him the puck, he could do something with it. And Denny Savard and Gilbert Perreault were similar players. They could get the puck behind their own net and score at the other end, and did it more often than you might think.
I know that in the Chicago Stadium, which was raucous at the best of times, literally he took people out of their seats, unlike anyone before or since Bobby Hull.
No question about it. He had that charm and charisma, and looked like he loved the game, and was enjoying entertaining the fans. And I know coaching against him, trying to come up with some defense that kept him somewhat under control, was a pretty tough assignment.
Now, the Blackhawks, though, are in a situation where goaltending may be a bit of a question mark, because Tony Esposito is, well, first off, he can't see anything past the blue line, and the career is to an end. Murray Bannerman is allegedly going to be sort of the man in the wings.
Well, Esposito had a wonderful career, and as usual, it ends up not being as delightful at the end as it was in the middle or the start. And he has started to show some wrinkles in his game, yet he's the kind of a player, if you know him at all, and I don't, but I've heard a lot of teammates talk about him, you don't tell Tony he's not playing very often. So he's on the edge of not being a Chicago Blackhawk, but he has thrilled a lot of fans a lot of times in the stadium.
And he is of the ilk, and maybe as far as how goaltending equipment has evolved, he revolutionizes goaltending equipment by making sure that the older he got, the bigger he got. And not just by sitting at the dinner table either.
No, I didn't like that netting he had between his pants. Right. So when he was doing the split in the 5-hole.
That's right, and the puck would go in there and come out faster than it went in. So it's going to be an interesting night, because these two teams have had a real history over the years, and now in the black and blue division of the Norris, the Chuck Norris division, as it was affectionately known, are going to collide at Maple Leaf Gardens for their first game of 8 to be played against the two teams during the 1983-84 season. Harry Neal is along with us because we're going back to October 15th. You're watching Molson Canadian Sunday Night Classics on Leafs TV.
I'm Joanne Roberts, and I'm a piano teacher. A rock had chipped my windshield, and one of my students, Sarah,
Dad, look,
noticed that the chip had become a crack.
Hi, Sarah.
Did you know you had a crack in your windshield?
Oh, right across the driver's side.
You know what? Bring it by my store, we'll take care of it. It's just not safe to drive like that.
That would be great. Thanks. Hi, Dad.
Apple Autoglass took care of everything. They certainly know what they're doing.
Apple Autoglass.
Celebrating our 25th.
Are the dog days of summer getting you down? Get ready for a heat wave of excitement with Leafs TV Hot August Ice. For the month of August, watch your Leafs all day, all night. Non-stop Maple Leaf summer action. Past greats, division games, shootout wins, and rival matchups all month long. Cool off from the heat. Catch Hot August Ice only on Leafs TV.
This is our house. This is our house. This is our house. This is our house.
Picked off by Ponikarovsky, and he's away. Scores! 3-0. This one, baby, is short-handed.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another season of your Saturday Night with the Maple Leafs here in Toronto. The referee at center ice is Brian Lewis. Starting his 14th season, the two linesmen are Leon Stickle and Dan McCourt. Mr. Stickle starting his 14th season, and Dan McCourt, he's the youngest. He's into his second season now. So I guess still a little nervous at the start of a season, like all these players when they start out. All the linesmen, the Leafs though, come right in on Esposito. Right off the bat, do not look nervous at all and give Esposito some fits early in the hockey game. Tony Esposito, 40 years old, ranked 7 on the all-time shutout list with 75. Gary, you have to wonder if this is Tony's final season.
Well, you wonder, Bob. I think he'll just keep right on going. Right now, he's the oldest player in the National Hockey League.
It's cleared out of the zone and down the ice. Larmer's shot away off the net. Steve Larmer, number 28 for Chicago. 5 goals and 1 assist in his first 4 games, serving notice as he's out for another good year. There's Therion, 7 for Toronto. Martin is on the wing with him. Gavin on the other side. Back to the line, that's Bill Stewart. Loose puck in front, he scored! Stu Gavin, empty net in behind Esposito. 1-0, Toronto. Fight started now.
Remember, altercation, players have to leave that zone. That's the Chicago zone, and they're clearing out right now.
Bill Stewart is the Leaf player, number 17. And Gary, I don't know who he's got, but he's got him.
Assist number 25, Terry Martin, and number 17, Bill Stewart. Time 43 seconds.
I think what's very
Stewart,
important here,
Gavin.
Bob, is the checking line of Gavin,
Stewart.
Therion, and Martin go against the top line of the Blackhawks and get the Leafs on the board.
That's Secord. Wow. Gavin got the goal from Martin and Stewart at 43 seconds. 1-0 Toronto.
Well, you have to do some strong forechecking. That's exactly what Therion did and caused the turnover. Stewart let the shot go nice and so that it was able to be deflected. Quite a scramble in front of Tony Esposito. He's out of position. No chance as Gavin puts it home.
Tony Esposito has been known to be a moody goaltender. Gary, what does this do to him?
Has to shake his confidence a little bit, but look at in front of the net. Terry Martin doesn't get an assist on the play. Very instrumental in making things happen.
That's Lehman, number 4 on the defense. Here he is, young Gary Lehman. Up for Toronto Maple Leafs, a good move down the wing for 5. 5 coming in, just missed that far post. Solving the other defenseman, cleared one in, he scored! Well, they said this was the year for Toronto to look lively, or a little livelier, and boy, have they done it in the first minute of this hockey game.
John Anderson, the goal scorer. I guess Tony's going to have to blame himself on that one. You know, letting that rebound sit right in front of him.
The shot goes wide. Anderson makes a circle in the slot. There's nobody near him. Right out of the glove of Esposito, and a good play by Anderson by heading for that net. That's why he got the goal.
And back to the live action. That's Dow on there for Toronto. 5 hopping in there looking for it. Anderson trailing the play. There's Anderson scooping it in front. Another shot. Whistle wide by Solving. Scramble around Esposito again. Preston with Lysiak and Sutter having difficulty getting out for the Chicago Blackhawks. And the Hawks are off to a great start. They've won 3 of their first 4. Well, they're running into the Leafs here in the first 2 minutes of this hockey game, and they're trailing 2-0 offside across center.
I think it all started at training camp with the Blackhawks. You know, they had 3 days of practice, and immediately they had to go on a 4-game road trip. On the other hand, for Mike Nicolak, he was very encouraged by the fact that last year the Leafs had an excellent second half. They made things happen. They battled back. He's been encouraged also this year by the fact that the Leafs don't quit when they fall behind. They keep battling.
2 goals, 18 seconds apart for Toronto. Anderson with his 3rd of the year from Solving and 5 at 1:01. Martin and Stewart setting up Gavin on the first goal at the 43-second mark. Leafs 2. Chicago, no score. Podubny ran into his man at center ice. Podubny on there now with Freacher, number 14, and Inachak, 18. Coming in, Troy Murray dropped it back. Shot by O'Callaghan is blocked by Inachak. Lively crowd here at the Gardens tonight. 2-0 Toronto. Paul Matier getting the start for the Leafs. Hooked it a little too high. Went over the glass into the crowd. Bill Stewart of Toronto and Secord of Chicago, or of Tessier's team, drawing major penalties for fighting at 43 seconds of this opening period. When the Leafs got the first goal, it's 2-0 Toronto. Wilson's shot from the blue line is deflected away from the net. That's Bill Gardner trying to dig it out. Back quickly in the other corner is Jim Corrin, and he got rid of it down the ice. Wilson back. Icing called against Toronto.
You know, talking to Mike Nicolak as we look at Orville Tessier, and we know what an intense person this guy is. You know, having 2 goals scored against him early in the hockey game will not sit very well with Orv Tessier.
Gary, what about that heart transplant comment he made last year about his players?
Well, Orv, I don't think it was anything personal against his players. You know, they had an excellent season, over 100 points, 104 to be exact, and I think it was just to try to stir them up. They had such an emotional series against Minnesota, and for all intents and purposes, that was like the Stanley Cup, you know, winning that series against Minnesota, and it was quite a letdown when they had to play the Oilers, and he was just trying to get his hockey club stirred.
Jim Corrin for Harris. Verlego speeding in there, couldn't handle the pass. So the Leafs have to go back to try it again. It's been all Toronto so far in this game. Mind you, we've only played 3 minutes. 2-0 Toronto Maple Leafs, and again, it's called. For Toronto tonight, Mike Palmatier. Mike took the heavy load for the Leafs last season. He had a .399 average in 53 games. And Gary, everybody is talking about the Leafs looking to improve. Well, a lot depends on Mike Palmatier.
Well, absolutely. That's what it's all about. We look at Rick St. Croix, the backup for tonight's game. But that's where it's all at. It's what you do behind your blue line, how you protect your goaltender. You know, you expect him to make the first save, but then the help has to arrive from defensemen and forward covering their respective positions.
Gardner in to take the draw, but he didn't get it. The Leafs do. Salming behind the net. Pass to Corn. Goes back to Salming. Again, Derlego turning near the line, gets it. Here's Derlego coming to center. Gingras working in. Can't handle that pass. Esposito out of the net to clear it. They nearly had him home free. Gaston Gingras up playing the left side for Toronto. In front of the net now. Can't handle it again. He was bumped by Bob Murray of Chicago. Patterson hooked into the corner, and it bounces down to the lead zone. Nearing the 4-minute mark of the opening period. Toronto 2, and Chicago no score. Chicago changing down. That's Keith Brown. Ahead it goes. Gardner fired it in. He's trying to get off. Here he goes down to the Chicago bench. Brown missed it up the blue line. And Gingras goes to the Toronto bench as the Leafs make changes. Coming out, Denis Savard. Lost it near center. Larmer shoots one in. Moving out of the net, Paul Matier got rid of it. He got trapped outside the net crease area that time. Benning slides it. Therion on the wing. Here's Therion cutting in. He was grabbed from behind, tied up, and couldn't get a shot on the net. Savard with him all the way. Toronto leading 2-0. Chicago trying to come in as Savard gets in over the line, poked it through. He's great. Savard shot, hit a stick, and bounced away. An exciting hockey player, Denis Savard. Right in front of the net. Put it home. He waited that extra second. Paul Matier had to commit himself. And it's 2-1.
You saw some of the moves that Denis Savard can make. He turned Therion inside out, and that's going to be the line matchup for tonight. But keep an eye on Savard. He waits for Paul Matier to commit himself. Now that's the sign of a real good goal scorer. Once Paul Matier was down, it's upstairs underneath the crossbar on the backhand. Excellent play. The Leafs are going to be successful. Stop Denis Savard.
Well, the puck just bounced back, and you can't really fault the goaltender. He had to commit. But you notice, Gary, Savard waiting that extra second. Down he went, and up it goes. It's 2-1 now. Keith Brown and Larmer assisting. 4:29 the time.
Well, that's Savard's first goal of the year, and he had an excellent season last year.
35 goals.
And what is happening is players are really shadowing him everywhere he goes. Orville Tessier touched on this. He's had an opposing player right beside him, even falling right to the player's box.
Well, with Savard, Larmer, and Secord, that's a big line. They had 132 goals last year. Right now, Secord is in the penalty box, serving a major. That's offside. It's called back.
Playing poker, playing hockey, it's the same deal. It's about challenging your opponents, learning to make the right move at the right time. With over 10 million players and more tables at every level, learn to play better poker for free at PokerStars.net and find the PokerStar in you.
Welcome to the world-famous university boat race, where the boys from Cambridge take on the defending champions, Oxford.
They're huge, and half of them in the Olympics. We've lost already.
Not to worry. I've given those tired blokes some Red Bull.
You've given Red Bull to our opponents? We may as well abandon ship right now.
Calm down. Red Bull revitalizes the mind, remember? I only gave it to the ones rowing on the right side of their boat. You see?
Red Bull gives you wings! Well, actually, Red Bull helps to temporarily restore mental alertness or wakefulness when experiencing fatigue or drowsiness.
The Leafs come back again with Daou, Vive, and Anderson. Preston, Lysiak, Sutter for Chicago. At least Sutter is on there, 27. They're changing quickly in this early going of this first period. The Leafs leading by a goal now. They jumped ahead 2-0. Now it's 2-1. There's O'Callaghan, the big defenseman, number 5.
Well, that had to be an exciting time for him when he was on the gold-winning team for U.S. in 1980. 3 years at Boston University. Good hockey player.
Preston trying to go in. Lehman staying with him. Has his man covered well. Good defensive move by Lehman. Hanging on to the speedy Rich Preston. But the Hawks keep it in. O'Callaghan falls to the ice. There's going to be a penalty against Toronto Maple Leafs on that play. John Anderson got the penalty for holding, and you see the time at 5:25. He pulled the Chicago Blackhawk to the ice inside the Maple Leaf blue line.
Larmer, Steve, a Rookie of the Year last year, number 28 for the Blackhawk. He has 5 goals so far this year, 3 on the power play. Keep an eye on him. What he does so well, gets himself in good scoring position.
Callahan flipped it in off his stick. Larmer couldn't knock it down. O'Callaghan again stopped it. Hawks keep it in for a second. That's all, and the Leafs slash it down the ice. Harris is going off. Terrion, a great penalty killer for Toronto, is on there now. By Martin, another good penalty killer. Martin drags the puck a bit. Took a bump from Bob Murray. Now the Hawks on a power play. A minute and a half left, and that penalty to Anderson. Coming down, the Blackhawks, Savard upended, went flying. Sprawling to the ice, and the Leafs can't clear it now. The Hawks do it for him. Larmer's pass got outside the line. They give it away to Savard. Larmer goes for the net. On the other wing, Kurt Fraser dumped it behind the net. Hawks. Murray on this power play near the blue line, waits for it. Doesn't get to him. It hit Martin. And now 55 seconds left in the Anderson penalty. The Hawks make changes. So do the Leafs. 2-1, Toronto leading. Coming in, Lysiak dropped it back. Wilson shot picked up by Paul McKeer. Good save. Brown slapped it behind the goal. Lysiak again. Digging to the corner is Rich Preston. He's stopped by Harris. Couldn't get it out though. And now another penalty. With a score, Toronto 2 and Chicago 1. This is Hockey Night in Canada on CBC.
You see this leak? You got to change your oil every 3,000 clicks, not 5. And use 10W40 motor oil, not 10W30. Stay away from 10W30. You got that? You got that?
What kind of oil does it take?
The best feeling I've ever had in my entire life was that first goal with the Leafs. It was my goal since I was 3 years old, you know, just to play in the NHL, and I was so happy I couldn't even explain it. Especially it was right after my grandfather died. It was that was probably the best feeling I've ever came across.
I'm Joanne Roberts, and I'm a piano teacher. A rock had chipped my windshield, and one of my students, Sarah,
Dad, look.
noticed that the chip had become a crack.
Hi, Sarah.
Did you know you had a crack in your windshield?
Oh, right across the driver's side.
You know what? Bring it by my store, we'll take care of it. It's just not safe to drive like that.
That would be great.
Hi, Dad.
Apple Auto Glass took care of everything. They certainly know what they're doing.
Celebrating our 25th anniversary.
And this time, Gary, a Chicago penalty.
You see the captain, Darryl Sutter, a 31-goal scorer last year, grabs a hold of Harris, and that's not a very good penalty to take. You know, catch a man, just let them ice and regroup. So the Leafs catch a break.
And Anderson will be back in 30 seconds. And they're even now. Freacher coming in. He was stopped, couldn't make a play. Back there, Tim Higgins for Chicago, lost it. Leafs on top of it again. They're very aggressive in this first period. And a check behind the goal. Here's Freacher speeding in. He overskates it. Hawks trying to move it out. They will this time. 5 seconds left with the Anderson penalty. He's ready to come on. Here's Ben Wilson in front. Volunteer scrambling to get back in the net. Behind the goal, and now Anderson is back on. The Leafs on a power play and leading 2-1. Freacher to Inachak. Inachak, good moves. Finally lost it. Chases Brown again. Dubney in to help. So is Freacher. On the boards, the Hawk player trying to grab it. That was Troy Murray. They get a whistle. It'll be a face-off in the zone.
Again, on the power play, you notice that the Leafs will switch wings. Vive, a right-hand shot, will go against the board on the left side. So in case Dow gets the draw, Vive can just slide right in that shot and let it go.
This time, the Leafs forced to go back to Derlego, to Salming. Shot by Salming, a rebound is there. But it's grabbed quickly by Patterson. Out for Chicago. He is stopped in his tracks at center ice. But he is satisfied to hang on to it if he can. Leafs on a power play with 40 seconds left in the penalty now to Sutter. Here come the Leafs again. They're leading by a goal. Vive shoots. Couldn't get a good shot away that time. He was off balance. He turned, let it go, not much on it. Now there's Vive. Here's Anderson. Anderson gets set. Has to shoot it off to the corner. Now went in there. It's grabbed by Bill Gardner. He got rid of it along the boards. Derlego tries to keep it in. 50 seconds left on this power play for the Leafs. Vive lost it. They have to hustle out now. 10 seconds left in the penalty. Anderson turning at center. Got rid of it. Derlego reaching. Sutter ready to step back on. He's on now. The Hawks at full strength again. Upended at center ice was Bill Gardner. They reached the 9-minute mark of the opening period. The Leafs jumped out quickly. In 18 seconds, they had 2 goals. The Hawks came back with 1. It's 2-1 now. Brown going in. Anderson took his pass. Therion to center. Therion, a good play. Going in is Gavin. Therion scrambling to get back into the action. Comes right in front of the net. Esposito looked rather cool as he tipped it away from the crease area. Secord sending it off to center ice. Savard going in. Takes a look. And Paul Matier will hang on to it. The Chicago big line is on there. Denny Savard with Cord and Larmer. Face off to the left of Paul Matier. 2-1 Maple Leafs. 10:29 remaining in the period. Therion gets the draw, flipped it back. Gavin and Martin, the other wingers for Toronto. Coming out is Jim Corn. The defenseman got rid of it. Hooked Kicked it off to the corner for Turion. Forechecking with Martin. Martin bumped and fell to the ice behind the net. There's Gavin to Martin. Martin in the corner. Went the other way. O'Callaghan for Chicago, tied up on the boards. Turion coming in there looking for it. And they hang on to it. Whistle goes. They stop the play for a face-off in the Chicago zone. Orv Tessier was telling me yesterday, Gary, that he has never seen Larmer play better. I know only 4 games, but he has been a standout.
One thing too, Bob, it helps to have Denny Savard as your center iceman. Savard draws defensemen to himself and then hits that open man. I mean, he gets the blue, so very important because of his speed.
And a muscle man like Secord on the other side, that doesn't hurt. There's a pass to him, Secord coming in with Savard. Secord took the shot, he went in too far. Palmatier standing his ground and cut the angle on him. Secord again. On the boards, trying to keep it in, he can't do it. Jim Korn forced him out. Now Larmer got away from the check thrown by Martin. Secord passed Larmer with that high pass. Palmatier stopped it for Korn. Korn has to move quickly now. There's a penalty coming up on this play, I believe. I wonder if it's Palmatier. Not sure. It's the Maple Leafs. Will be getting the penalty. Yes, it was Palmatier, Gary.
He knows he stuck that right pad out and knocked down Steve Larmer, so again, the Blackhawks will go on the power play.
Stuart Gavin.
Gavin to serve the penalty against Mike Palmatier. 2 minutes tripping. Hawks have a chance to even the score. Murray to Wilson, the big defenseman, ripped one. That was stopped. And the Leafs get rid of it down the ice.
The strength of the Blackhawks has always been their point man, and you'll normally see Wilson and Murray out there. What makes them so good is the pass out of their own end, and then they shoot the puck nice and low so the wingers can deflect it.
Great play, right in, Palmatier down, and it just dribbled wide of the far post of the Hawks, led by Tom Lysiak, and Preston went right in on him. 8:50 left in the period. 2-1 Toronto. A minute and 25 after the penalty for the Maple Leafs. Lysiak again to Preston. This time he stopped. Salming fell in front of him. Hawks keep it in. Lysiak. Lysiak, a good playmaker. Doug Wilson shot, score! Went off a skate. Maybe Jim Benning.
Well, Benning and Sutter were in front of the net. You know, as Sutter was heading for Palmatier in front, Benning was right beside him. And again, it wasn't a hard shot, but it was a shot in the right location along the ice. I really couldn't pick it up from that play, but Wilson shot it right along the ice. Palmatier probably screened or it hit a skate.
Doug Wilson, a smart hockey player, great defenseman, and a standout with the Chicago team.
For Doug Wilson. Assist number 12, Tom Lysiak.
So it went in all
penny. Number 27, Daryl Sutter. Time 11:28.
11:28. We have a tie game now here in Toronto at 2. Leafs come right back in, trying to get a lucky one from behind the net. It was juggled in front, hit a couple of skates, and bounced away. Sutter and Lysiak assisted on that power play goal by Doug Wilson. Second of the season. Palmatier covering up now. Little over 8 minutes remaining in the period as the Leafs start out. In a check, waits for Podubny. Preacher on the right side. Preacher going in, playing in his first game. Miroslav Preacher, there he is. Had knee surgery. They say he's fit. All set to go, and he's out there tonight. Ben Wilson now. Ben Wilson coming out for Chicago as Higgins at center. He played it in with 7:40 to play in the period. Palmatier got rid of it. Hawks will keep it in. Ben Wilson at the line, couldn't stop it. Has to hang on now. Didn't wait long enough, so the Leafs get an opportunity to move it out. Here they come. So the play goes right on, and Podubny fired it in. The Leafs looking to make changes. Lehman goes to the bench with Podubny. That's Daou on there now. Coming in is Anderson in front of the net. He didn't get the pass. It was stopped by Patterson. Korn couldn't keep it in. Penalty offside. It's called. This is Hockey Night in Canada from Toronto.
Are the dog days getting you down? Get ready for a heat wave of excitement with Leafs TV Hot August Ice. For the month of August, watch your Leafs all day, all night. Non-stop Maple Leaf summer action. Past greats division games, shootout wins, and rival matchups all month long. Cool off from the heat. Catch Hot August Ice only on Leafs TV.
This is our house. This is our house. This is our house. This is our house. This is our house.
Playing poker, playing hockey, it's the same deal. It's about challenging your opponents, learning to make the right move at the right time. With over 10 million players and more tables at every level, learn to play better poker for free at PokerStars.net and find the PokerStar in you.
Doug Wilson, who has maybe the hardest shot from the point in the National Hockey League at this stage of his career, has just tied the game 2-2 at 11:26 of the first period, harbinger of things possibly to come. Rick Vaives added an assist. He's picked up an assist on John Anderson's third goal of the year. And RV process this year of going through his third 50-goal season on a team that scored at will. Unfortunately, it seemed to work at both ends of the rink, but offensively was not a problem. Anderson and Derlego, that line was as prolific as Savard, Secord, and Larmer.
Well, they were a good trio, there's no doubt about that, and Rick was the finisher on the line, and almost every league he played in on the way up as a kid, he was a big-time goal scorer and was able to continue that in the NHL. And not only did he have a hard shot, but he got it away in a hurry, and it was you goaltender had to move to stop it. And if you can do that and get 5 or 6 shots a night, you're going to score some goals.
And you know, the one thing, and we've talked about this, and I've talked to Rick about it as well, and what I kind of felt that how the National Hockey League had gone into the 2000s was the fact that guys like Rick Vaive would not do what he did in the 80s, and that is roar down that wing, get to the top of the circle, wind it up, and shoot it at the net, because there was no room anymore to shoot at with the goaltending equipment being so big. And the game itself, I think, as a spectator, half the excitement was the ooh and the ah of that slap shot, whether it went in or whether it just missed. But it was a scoring chance, and you knew that it was going to be a good scoring chance when these guys could shoot the puck as well as somebody like Rick.
There's no doubt about it. He got a pile of those goals from outside the hash mark and at the top of the circle, and that far corner was an area that he could put the puck 9 times out of 10, and the goalie had to make a move to make a good save with his leg. Now the goalies get out and stand, and you can't see the net from where Vaive scored a lot of his goals, and hopefully this year we'll see that changes again.
Well, we're hoping. Now, the other thing, too, is that Billy Derlego played on a line and was a magician with the puck. And I know that I guess that if there was ever going to be a guy that you wish was a little more competitive, it might have been Billy D, because he had so much natural talent, and you knew all about this while in Vancouver because you drafted him.
Yeah, and talent was not his problem. There was no question about that. He could make plays, and he could handle the puck, and he really loved to play. He wasn't as disciplined as he should have been as an athlete in the best league in the world, and when his team didn't have the puck, he lost interest in the game, so to speak. But when he got the puck, if you were like Rick Vaive and played on his line, get yourself in the open, because he'll get it to you.
All right, so the Maple Leafs and the Chicago Blackhawks are tuning it up, tied 2-2.
Boya Salming at the Leaf bench, and his team going out 2-0 on goals by Gavin and Anderson. And then Savard and Wilson. Doug Wilson of Chicago, a power play goal. And it's tied at 2 with 7 minutes to play in the period. Leafs 5. Couldn't tap it back to Benning. O'Callaghan back for Chicago. And a good move to the right of Tony Esposito. And now Preston up to center with Lysiak. Shooting it in, and Sutter is 27, going in after it. Sutter falls. Puck beneath him. Now he's back up again and down a second time. The Hawks put the pressure on a bit, but now Daou's away with Vaive. That pass too far. Slides all the way down the ice. And it's called. We're getting another penalty. Vaive was upended in the corner. Well, I guess, Gary, it's one thing to take your man out, but not when it's interference.
Well, it wasn't, again, not a very good penalty because the Blackhawks would have touched the puck, causing an icing. And that's one thing that Orville Tessier had talked about prior to the game, Bob. He had mentioned that right now we're taking lazy penalties. You know, the hooking, the tripping, the interference, as we saw in that play. And you don't win hockey games. You keep giving team power play opportunities. Before you know, you're going to keep fishing the puck out of your own net. So we have to use discipline in that area.
2-2 here. And it's still 1-0 for Edmonton out there at the new Saddle Dome in Calgary. We're watching that for you. Brian McFarland is. We'll have all the highlights for you on our update. NHL update tonight. The Leafs are in again. Smack at it right in front of the net. It hit Anderson. And grabbed quickly by Bill Gardner. Gardner in back of the net. Here comes Anderson again to keep it in. Along the boards. Hawks now short-handed trying to clear it out. They do. O'Callaghan is in the penalty box for the Blackhawks for interference. That's Dave Farish, I believe, his first shift. A pass ahead, tipped by Vaive. He couldn't go through, but he had him spotted in behind everybody.
75 career shutouts, 73 with the Blackhawks. Who are the other two for? Which team?
Canadians.
You're absolutely right. When he first broke in with the Montreal Canadiens, what a performer. You know, you get nervous when you watch Tony Esposito play, especially on long shots. He seemed to juggle everything. It hits him in the chest protector and bounces, and then he's scrambling for it. But over the years, he's quite a competitor, and he feels that when he can't do the job any longer, age has nothing to do with it, and it's time to get out. But right now, he wants to play.
Shutouts hard to come by as you look at Terry Martin at the Leaf bench these days, the way they play. I think Tony had one last year. Sawchuk leads them all with 103. 5:51 left in the period. 2-2 tie here in Toronto. Daou for Toronto. Anderson and Vaive. Benning and Farish. And in the penalty duel, Callahan, a minute 20 left. There's Vaive. Anderson goes in to help. Anderson got rid of it in front. And the Hawks hop on it and shoot it down the ice. So Farish will go back.
One thing we've noticed, both teams are well, they're taking their man right against the boards. You know, they're not letting him off the hook with stick checking, and that's an exciting part of the game, and also a lot of quick skating, fast, crisp passes.
There's Daou putting on the brakes, got it back, and hit a skate. There's a shot! Side of the net. Vaive hooked it back, gives Salming another chance. Salming will get it back again, likely. There it comes to him. Now Salming. Shot hit a stick, broke it. Vaive, good play. Shot low on Anderson, knocked down, rebound. Another shot goes through. Jim Benning hopping in from the blue line. He saw he might have a chance. A good move.
You know, a good power play consists of a lot of passing, diligent corner work, getting on the opposition. You have that man advantage, get right on top of them. You saw that Esposito was going down, but he just didn't get down quick enough as Benning shot it right under him. But good puck pursuit by the Maple Leafs. Benning from his point position on defense gets that rebound and just puts it home. Look at Anderson battle. What a good job.
He didn't get an assist, but you know who started that play? Salming from the blue line. When he had that second opportunity to step around somebody and slide it in. That created the big jam in there. Anderson and Vaive got the assists. Benning the goal. A power play goal at 15:01. 4:40 left in the period. The Leafs on top again by a goal. Here comes tricky Denny Savard. And the shot deflected into the crowd.
I like that move there by Bill Stewart. One-on-one, he looked Savard right in the shoulder. Didn't go for the fake, just played the man. He wasn't even interested in that puck. And then when Savard went to take that slap shot, just put the stick in front of it and up in the crowd. There's Benning, his first of the year. He wants to concentrate more on defense. We know that he has the ability to be an offensive player, but his main goal this season is to really help out defensively.
Assistant coach Dan Maloney wants us to say hello, and we're happy to do it. To Dan's mother in Barrie, Ontario. And unfortunately, Mrs. Maloney not feeling 100% lately, but Dan says hello. And so do we here on Hockey Night in Canada. I hope you're well soon, Mrs. Maloney. 4:30 to play in the period. Toronto 3 and Chicago 2. The Leafs, Gavin Martin. Pass behind Martin, but good hustle, good forechecking by the Toronto Maple Leafs against this high-flying Chicago Blackhawk team. On the boards again. They hang on to it.
Well, the reason that we're getting a lot of goals scored now is there's good puck pursuit by both teams. You know, you're not getting a chance to set up and make those smooth plays.
That's at the Forum in Montreal. Our update game tonight. 1-0. Edmonton leading Calgary. Horn shot late on, and Esposito stopped it. You know, at age 40 years for Tony Esposito, we mentioned at the top of our show maybe this could be his last season. Orv Tessier, you know, is taking a look. He's got Bob Janicek coming up. He's born in the Chicago area, in Chicago as a matter of fact. 3.64 goals against average with Springfield in the American League. 3 shutouts last year. So he's got some thinking to do. Bannerman is definitely number one.
And Bannerman, he'll play at least 30, 35, or 50, 55 games this season. You know that for a fact.
Lehman looking good, this young Lehman. Dropped it into the side of the net, still with it. Lehman went after it, trying to tie up his man. Now he has 2 Hawks there. Derlego, therefore, goes in to help. Comes to Greg Fox. Fox flipped it out to center ice with 3:50 left in the period. And the Leafs leading by a goal. There's Lehman, number 4. Got a start here last year, you remember it, against Minnesota in the playoffs, right out of junior hockey. What a spot to be in. He handled himself pretty well that night, as I recall. Gingras stopping one just outside the Hawk blue line. Derlego and Harris out there also for Toronto. Lehman is on the defense with Salming. Now the Hawks stopped by Salming. Lehman will have to back him up. 3:20 to play in the period. Lehman fanned on it nearly, so he hustles over to try to make up for that mistake. Gingras with a bit of muscle in there. Knocking Higgins to the ice. There's Derlego. Derlego will try to shoot it out. O'Callaghan blocked it, stepped in a couple of steps, and the Leafs will clear it. Derlego's up there, one man back. Derlego coming in, dead set, shoots it, and a hit a stick. It was blocked by Greg Fox neatly.
See, there was a mistake by a young rookie. He was only 3 strides inside his own blue line. All they had to do was dump it off the boards, get his own end of the ice. Instead, he goes back in his own end, and the Blackhawks put on a little pressure.
Inachak leading this rush with Podubny and Freacher. Grabbed quickly by Bob Murray. Lost it. In front, Freacher. Goal! What a beautiful goal by Miroslav Freacher. Wow!
Certainly a great way to come off the injured list. Just watch this one-on-one. Boy, when you start fishing for the puck, you got a problem. And that's exactly what happened. Number 24, Doug Wilson, went for the shift. It was a bad pass because Murray was harassed. Couldn't pick out the player that was doing the strong forechecking. And once Freacher got it, what a beautiful move, one-on-one, and he turned Esposito inside out.
That's his first, of course. He's playing his first game for Toronto, unassisted, 17-26. What a dandy goal. And the Leafs lead by 2. They said they'd be more exciting. Well, that's the stuff that hockey fans everywhere love to see. Not this, but what he did to score the goal.
Right. Bob, I couldn't really pick out who was doing the forechecking against Murray. It had to be either Podubny or Inachak. And that caused the giveaway. You know, the forechecking was there. Murray threw the puck away blind. Inachak picked it up, and boy, he did some fancy moving and ended up scoring a goal. But we have penalties in the meantime. Sutter and Freacher heading for the penalty box.
Coming at 17:44 of this opening period.
Daryl Sutter, 2 minutes for slashing. Toronto penalty to number 14, Miroslav Freacher, 2 minutes for slashing. Time 17:44.
A pair of slashing
for Chicago,
penalties.
Daryl Sutter slashing. For Toronto, Miroslav Freacher slashing. Time 17:44.
And that's the
shooter's getting better. We've had 6 goals and 15 shots. That's pretty good average.
It's been wide open, let's face it. Not much hitting anymore at the blue line. The defensemen do not stand up there now. Everybody is more mobile. Remember the old days up at the blue line?
Boy,
bang.
You know, one of the best ever at that was Alan Stanley. Remember when he first came to Philadelphia in expansion? He just stood right at that blue line. He defied you to go around him, and he got a piece of you, took you out of the play.
The opening of the Saddle Dome tonight in Calgary, and that's our update game for you here on Hockey Night in Canada. Edmonton, the visitors, and they're leading 1-0. Coming in now, Jim Corn, back to Martin. Skate saved by Esposito. Therion speeding in for it. Salming stepped around Secord. Salming getting in dangerously close. A high shot on the glass. 1:35 left. Secord coming in. Salming watching him. Nice poke check by Salming. And the Hawks have to go back again. That's Keith Brown. He hands it off to Savard. He was knocked flying by Jim Corn. That's the long and the short of it. Corn taped him all the way. 1:15 to play in the period. There's Corn waiting for help. Finds it to the far side. Lucky though, it bounced over a Chicago stick. Shot from a bad angle, and Esposito had a little bit of trouble, but he jammed the pads on it and held it. Tony O, number 35 from the Sioux. Mike Palmateer, not too busy so far in the period. 11-6 the shots. Toronto over Chicago with 53 seconds to play. And the Leafs have 4 goals, the Hawks 2. Daou with a stick high against Murray. Make that Ludzik, 29. There's Ludzik going back of the net. Salming went the other way. He got away from Larmer as he tried to stop him. Salming's pass, hit 5, went behind the net. 5 is bumped. Daou lost it. The Hawks will bring it out. And it's Larmer to center. He got away from that check thrown by Salming. Leafs defenseman throwing the weight around now. 25 seconds left of the period. They're bumping hard now. Little Daou going after Greg Fox.
What did you say about no hits?
Going to get a penalty, I guess, against Chicago. Corn was upended at the blue line. Yeah, ever since I've mentioned that's all they've been doing.
We've had a direct line right to the players' box. I heard what you said, so they decided they better get a little rough stuff in there, a little body contact.
It'll be Ludzik.
Steve Ludzik. 2 minutes for tripping. Time 19:45. Steve Ludzik for tripping. Time 19:45.
Just a few moments ago, you saw Larmer carrying that puck and Salming come across that blue line, make contact with him. You notice how that broke up the play? The tendency, of course, is to back in. And that's why teams get so many good scoring chances, because guys are afraid to challenge at that blue line. They feel that a forward is going to make them look silly, and that'll happen.
That's great if the wingers are coming back. You can stand up there, and that's the big secret. The wingers coming back quickly in the back-checking role. Give your defenseman a chance to stand up and hit.
Isn't it amazing how much stamina you have going offensively, but when it comes time to back-check, you like to take that easy way out. Everybody has seen that.
Now, just 5 seconds remaining in the period, and the Leafs will shoot it down the ice. It's right on the net, and the horn goes to end the period. So after one period here in Toronto, Toronto 4 and Chicago 2.
Welcome to the world-famous University Boat Race, where the boys from Cambridge take on the defending champions, Oxford.
They're huge, and half of them in the Olympics. We've lost already.
Not to worry. I've given those tired blokes some Red Bull.
You've given Red Bull to our opponents? We may as well abandon ship right now.
Calm down. Red Bull revitalizes the mind, remember? I only gave it to the ones rowing on the right side of their boat. You see?
Red Bull gives you wings.
Well, actually, Red Bull helps to temporarily restore mental alertness or wakefulness when experiencing fatigue or drowsiness.
see this leak? You got to change your oil every 3,000 clicks, not 5. And use 10W40 motor oil, not 10W30. Stay away from 10W30. You got that? You got that?
What kind of oil does it take?
Well, the Calgary Flames are no longer playing in the old Corral. They are in their brand new stadium, the Saddle Dome. And we've got Dave Hodge with a special feature.
In terms of housing its own Major League Hockey team, Calgary has been hoping for a big league first-class hockey facility at least since the mid-1970s. Tonight, of course, it's a reality. The National Hockey League's first ever game at the Saddle Dome is being played.
In the beginning, Calgary's quest for a Major League Hockey building started in 1975 when Jimmy Patterson transferred the Vancouver Blazers of the World Hockey Association to Cowtown and appropriately renamed the team the Cowboys. Joe Crozier's team was to provide the catalyst for the construction of a 15,000-seat arena at a cost of $20 million. But the league that provided Bobby Hull and the European Jets and the farewell tour of Gordie Howe couldn't make it here. And when the team failed to attract 3,000 season ticket holders to the tiny Stampede Corral, not only did talk of a new arena die, but the Cowboys themselves rode off into the sunset in the summer of 1977. Prospects for a new building lay dormant until the spring of 1980, when another Vancouver millionaire took another chance on Calgary as a big league hockey town. Nelson Skalbania shocked a lot of people when he bought the Atlanta Flames and moved the club to the Canadian Rockies without any assurance of a new building. But within 48 hours of announcing the move, Skalbania had received some 11,000 season ticket applications for the 6,500-seat Corral. Construction of the unique building with the saddle-shaped roof began in the spring of 1981. Calgary, then in the last stages of a building boom. It was hard to get contractors, hard to get building supplies. But with the Flames coming off their most successful season and Frank King's team coming through with the Winter Olympics, there was great pressure to get the building finished quickly. The construction team decided on the fast track method. That meant construction started even before the design was complete, and that led to big trouble. First, the design team began making changes to the original plans. And when construction of the saddle-shaped roof became somewhat confusing, the completion date of December 1982 was delayed 10 months. But more important to Calgary taxpayers, rumors of a large cost overrun began to surface. The deficit was made public this summer. It was $16.5 million, bringing the total cost of Calgary's first big league arena to just short of the $100 million mark. The Olympic Saddle Dome became the talk of the summer. And while the cost overrun dominated the minds of the politicians and the media, the hockey fan didn't really care about the labor pains. He just wanted to see the baby. And this baby is something special. 16,700 seats with room for additional 3,000. A lavish restaurant. 33 box suites. And the list goes on and on.
The Leafs with a 4-2 lead over the Chicago Blackhawks after just one period of play. And you're watching Molson Canadian Classics on Leafs TV.
The best feeling I've ever had in my entire life was that first goal with the Leafs. It was my goal since I was 3 years old, you know, just to play in the NHL, and I was so happy. I couldn't even explain it. Especially it was right after my grandfather died. It was that was probably the best feeling I've ever came across.
I'm Joanne Roberts, and I'm a piano teacher. A rock had chipped my windshield, and one of my students, Sarah,
Dad, look.
noticed that the chip had become a crack.
Hi, Sarah.
Did you know you had a crack in your windshield?
Oh, right across the driver's side.
You know what? Bring it by my store, we'll take care of it. It's just not safe to drive like that.
That would be great. Thanks.
Hi, Dad.
Apple Autoglass took care of everything. They certainly know what they're doing.
Apple Autoglass.
Celebrating our 25th anniversary.
Are the dog days of summer getting you down? Get ready for a heat wave of excitement with Leafs TV Hot August Ice. For the month of August, watch your Leafs all day, all night. Non-stop Maple Leaf summer action. Past greats, division games, shootout wins, and rival matchups all month long. Cool off from the heat. Catch Hot August Ice only on Leafs TV.
Mike Palmateer was reacquired by the Toronto Maple Leafs from the Washington Capitals, the popcorn kid coming back, but he has got two really bad knees. And yet, this is a thrill a minute. I mean, this is the way he has played his entire career, and yet the way things are going in here tonight, both he and Tony Esposito are probably thinking about maybe we don't need this very much.
This is one of those games, as it looks like it's going to be, where the last shot wins the game, and two goalies who have pretty good reputations are not having a vintage night. Palmateer with two bad knees. We know he's not going to have a third, so he's got that one going for him. And Tony Esposito can't see the puck from anywhere from 60 feet out or more, so the odd shot from center may beat him. This is not a night that goalies remember fondly, and it amazes me as the game goes on, and we're seeing it early here, that the replacement of either one of them or both of them hasn't occurred.
No. Now, one of the things, too, is with Palmateer, and I remember watching this in practice, and we can talk to the older guys who played with John Bauer, who stood in that net and just would not leave, and anything that got near him, he had to stop. Everything was scooped out of the net. Mike Palmateer, during a practice or even the pregame warm-up, you wondered if he was ever going to get hit. And I remember John Anderson coming by me during practice, and he said, "I've been out here an hour and a half. I can't hit him." He didn't want to get hit.
That's the same characteristic Terry Sawchuk had. As I remember watching him in the warm-ups, and he just stood there. And the Detroit players knew enough, because he was a bit of a hothead, to miss him. Don't hit him, especially up on the shoulders. And Palmateer saved his routine for the game, and I don't know whether this was a mental exercise, but it wasn't much of a physical one to warm up.
I remember watching him one time, and it was like he was playing tennis with the goal stick, and he was literally knocking pucks out of the air, but not getting any piece of his body in front of anything to make sure that he was. But he had a great mental approach as a goaltender, and usually they're one or the other. Outgoing guy that's gregarious and everything else, or you've got that sullen guy sitting in the corner that doesn't want to be talked to or heard, and you're probably looking at the antithesis here at either end of the rink. Esposito, don't do anything before a game. Palmateer is joking around eating popcorn.
Yeah, well, Palmateer was a very acrobatic goalie, and you have to wonder whether the acrobatics started long before he got to the rink. But he was a goalie who often made not real difficult saves look like tremendous stops. And I'm not criticizing for that, because some goalies are like that. Dominik Hasek, a recent one, whose style is a little tough to figure out, but gets the job done. And in this game, he's still trying not to get hit with those pucks.
That's right. And both of them are doing a fairly good job. So the Maple Leafs and the Chicago Blackhawks teeing it up October 15th, 1983. You're watching Molson Canadian Sunday Night Classics on Leafs TV.
This is our house. This is our house. This is our house. This is our house. This is our house.
Playing poker, playing hockey, it's the same deal. It's about challenging your opponents, learning to make the right move at the right time. With over 10 million players and more tables at every level, learn to play better poker for free at PokerStars.net and find the PokerStar in you.
Welcome to the world-famous university boat race, where the boys from Cambridge take on the defending champions, Oxford.
They're huge, and half of them in the Olympics. We've lost already.
Not to worry. I've given those tired blokes some Red Bull.
You've given Red Bull We may as well abandon ship right now.
Calm down. Red Bull revitalizes the mind, remember? I only gave it to the ones rowing on the right side of their boat. You see?
Red Bull gives you wings.
Well, actually, Red Bull helps to temporarily restore mental alertness or wakefulness when experiencing fatigue or drowsiness.
Well, a couple of things that we can try to observe in this second period, Bob, or look for. Number one, the Leafs, will they try to hang on or hold on to that two-goal lead? You know, kind of sit back and let the Blackhawks come to them. I think if they do that, it's a real big mistake. We've seen that happen too many times where anytime you lay back, you're just asking for trouble. So keep going after the opposition. Blackhawks, far too many giveaways in their own end, played very loose. Esposito, very shaky in that first period.
Now remember, starting this period, the Leafs are on a power play. A minute 30 left in that penalty to Ludzik. And the Leafs have to come all the way back to start it going again. Benning is on with Farish, the two defensemen. Dow swinging around the net now, leaves the puck there for the defenseman. Anderson, and there is 5 up ahead. He didn't get the pass. It went to Daou. Daou gets set to Anderson, coming in. Trying to hit the short side, nearly did. Esposito, and that butterfly style of his, though, went down and made the save. The left pad. Benning around the goal. Benning's long pass finds Farish to center. Anderson and 5 coming in. Farish, a weak shot. Scores! You mentioned something to me, Gary Dornhofer. You said before this period started, if I were Tessier, I would consider making a goaltending change. That was a bad goal for Tony.
Well, he's been fighting it, Bob. Esposito seems to have a lot of difficulty on long shots. Now this one flutters. Look at it, it's the old knuckleball. It does drop. Just seems to find an opening between the pads, and all Esposito can do is watch it trickle over that goal line. Defensively, Cox challenged at just inside the blue line, forced the shot by Farish, still trickled over the line.
So 54 seconds, Benning and Paul Matier got an assist on the goal. Farish, his first. A long shot, you saw it. Esposito thought he had it. It dribbled behind him. Took about 3 seconds for it to cross the goal line, but it did.
Oh, Bob, it did drop. There's no question about that. The defenseman, it hit his stick, it dropped, but in Esposito, it looked like he had his body in front of him and just found that opening. But, you know, when things are going against you, goals like that go in.
This man got the goal.
Now let's look at it again. You can see the flight of the puck. You see Esposito out challenging, which is what he should do. Now watch the puck as it drops. It'll drop down and just trickle through those pads, and you see a very disgusted and disappointed Tony Esposito.
And for Dave Farish, his first goal of the season, as you see, it pays to shoot.
You just took the words right out of my mouth. You can never go wrong by shooting the puck on the net.
So 5-2, Toronto Maple Leafs. Savard now trying to do something about it for Chicago. He was fooled. That's Bill Stewart, 17. Up to Tyrion, dropping it back. Jim Corn trying a long shot. Maybe there's a word out on Esposito. Let him go as you hit the line. Stewart's shot didn't get through to him. And Larmer with Secord catching up. Good play, Secord, and he's stopped by Paul Matier. Another shot. Paul Matier was back in time. At the blue line. Martin couldn't get away, couldn't shake off that check. Larmer again, coming in with Savard. Savard up the blue line. What a puck handler this man is. Savard upended. Play goes on. No penalty. Comes to center ice again. Greg Fox fading back. Larmer turning. 2.5 minutes gone in the second. Gardner is offside. Toronto Maple Leafs getting a goal here in the second period. Lead by 3.
You're going to see a good give and go by the Chicago Blackhawks with Larmer and Secord. It's a 2-on-1 break. Gavin is coming back. Look at Paul Matier. He just takes the angle away from Secord, makes an easy save. But the key on this play is he gets some help defensively. They're able to clear up. Blackhawks did get another shot, but wide of the net.
Greg Fox back there with O'Callaghan. They clear it out, but that's all. The Leafs have it again. Freacher now. He's on with Podubny and Inachak, the Leaf line. And this is Freacher. He's got a goal tonight. It was a dandy. Inachak going in. scramble that comes back in front, but I'll tell you, they're giving Esposito fits. Tony Esposito watching Peter Inachak dipsy-doodle around the net. He had nearly scored another one for Toronto last year, 28 goals and 38 assists for 66 points. There's Freacher again. Inachak, Podupny. Inachak was in the crease. They're looking for Inachak to really help this Maple Leaf team this year. And I don't know, but he might. He's got a year under his belt now, and he's a beautiful stick handler. Smart hockey player, and he's strong. There he is, 18. Quick shot from just outside the slot area. At the blue line, Wilson's drive. That was tipped high over the glass into the crowd behind Palmateer. With an NHL update, let's now go to Brian McFarland.
And we're back in Calgary to watch the Oilers take a 2-1 lead in town Calgary Flames in the opening of the Saddle Dome. Lowe takes the shot here. Watch the rebound. Comes to Anderson off to the right, and he scores on the power play. The Oilers lead the Flames 2-1. 19:25 still in the first period.
And no matter what Edmonton does in the regular season, they're still going to say, well, you got to show us the Stanley Cup. They'll get no thanks. It's a tough road to hoe, but there it is. Exciting hockey team, though, the Edmonton Oilers. Beaten 4 straight last year, as everybody knows, by the New York Islanders. Derlego's backhand shot, a weak one, wide of the far post. The Hawks trying to clear, but the Leafs on top of it. Derlego again, got it in front. Billy Harris was stopped. There's Bill Derlego again, looking for it. Good work by the Maple Leafs inside the line. Now Preston is away with Lysiak. Another good stick handler. Lysiak dropping it back, but then fell. Harris gives it away at center ice. Parrish ran into a brick wall. That was Ben Wilson. Stepped right into him, but the Leafs have it again. Harris looking around, got it in front. Parrish shot. Stop. Rebound. Esposito will hang on. But you notice, Gary, 3 Leafs in looking for the loose puck.
Now they're on the puck all the time, Bob. Good pursuit, and that's what it's really all about. As we look at Daryl Sutter, we had a chance of talking to him this morning, and he mentioned about his brother Ron, who was with the Philadelphia Flyers, and he said, you watch my brother go. He'll make things happen this year. He's got a lot more puck handling ability than I ever have. I have those cement hands, but Sutter, Daryl for the Blackhawks still gets his goals.
Dow, Anderson 5 for Toronto. Higgins is 15 for Chicago. Troy Murray taking the face-off. To the left is Kurt Fraser. Now the Blackhawks starting out. This is Doug Wilson. Coming up to center. His pass hopped over the stick of Fraser. And the Leafs have it again. Gary Lehman tipped it ahead on the left wing boards. It'll come back to him. Lehman looks for Salming behind the net. Gives it to him. Salming's long pass.